welcome to How to Be Fancy. So I was actually tagged in a real legitimate tag for I think the second time in my making videos history. So that's always exciting when you really get tagged in a video and you're not just doing the tag because you think it's fun and you want to do it, and it doesn't matter if you really got tagged or not anyway. But Leigh Ann from Leighannsays did tag me to do this video, and it is the my first time video. I'm sure you can tell by the title. And no, I think that comes with the general disclaimer, it's not that first time, but a lot of different first times in your life. There are a lot of questions here, and I think my battery is running pretty low on the camera, so apologies if there's a short break in the middle of this. Let's get on to the questions. I have them here on my trusty dusty phone. The first question: I haven't had a lot of first loves, to be quite honest with you. I didn't do a whole lot of dating in high school and college, and so pretty much my first love is my husband. That's the first person I ever said I love you to, and so yeah, of course I still talk to him pretty much every day. Again, I don't drink. I hate the taste of alcohol. It really disgusts me. And so funny story, when I was about probably 8 or 9, I think, my mom cleaned houses for people, and sometimes my sister and I went along and we got into the fridge of the lady she was cleaning house for, and she had like some sort of like frozen margarita or something like that in the fridge, and we thought it was just like some fun like colorful beverage. And so my sister and I definitely took a drink of that and realized really quickly that it was not exactly what we had thought. So that was probably my first ever drink. My very first job, I had all sorts of odds and ends jobs when I was a kid because I loved making money. But around junior high, early high school, my parents owned a snow cone truck, and we drove around our tiny little town and played the music and gave away snow cones, and that music still haunts me to this day. I can probably sing at least 3 of the songs in a row because I heard them so much. But my first like legitimate like fill out the W-9 type job was working for Sears in the shoe department, and I worked with my best friend Courtney at the time, and we had all sorts of fun. She worked in men's, I worked in shoes. We collaborated. That would have to be Brent, the boy. He actually just texted me a picture of someone cleaning his windows outside of his office. He's on like the 22nd floor, I think, of his building, so that's exciting. My cat, because the instant I start breathing differently, signaling that I've woken up, he is right in my face, and you can't help but not think of him because he's like licking your nose, wanting you to hold him or cuddle him or feed him. I don't know, but he's always the first thing I think of in the morning because he's always right in my face. I was homeschooled from first grade all the way through to high school, and so my mom was my teacher every day, and it was fun and exciting times. Really, I didn't fly in an airplane for a really long time in my life. So I think the first trip I ever took in an airplane, I didn't tell anyone it was my first trip. I flew to Michigan, to Detroit, to see my college roommate, and we were gonna drive her car back, and it was like a whole weekend of firsts because I had never flown, and I flew by myself for the very first time. And then on the way back, she had a stick shift and I had never driven one before, and of course it's a very long drive from north to south, and so I had to learn really quickly, and it was really scary. And so thank you, Jennifer, for being super patient with me and not freaking out when I wasn't sure what I was doing driving a stick. My Aunt Shireen's wedding was, I think, the first time I was ever in a wedding, and I was her flower girl along with my cousin Krista, and everything was gray and apricot, and it was, you know, big good times of the late 80s. I believe it was late 80s probably, and we got to wear these big fluffy dresses and these flower crowns, but the flower crown hurt my head so bad. It was so tight. Also, we had to wear banana clips, I'm pretty sure, which was terrible. And my cousin Krista kept walking down the aisle way too fast. So Krista, if you're watching, you should have slowed down. But I think I was actually walking really, really slow because I wanted everybody to look at us because we were so cute. Get the cat off of me so that I could get up. And then after that, I definitely had coffee. My parents were both in like bands and stuff like that when I was little, so probably honestly it was one of their concerts. But if we're talking like real legitimate concerts, which really isn't real or legitimate, but I mean I guess for the time it was, I think probably the first concert I went to was DC Talk, maybe? I thankfully have never broken a bone, but I definitely, or at least that I know of, but I've definitely severely dislocated both of my pinky toes and they've never healed correctly, so they're both just horribly like mutilated, and I've also jammed both of my ring fingers. I don't know, I'm kind of clumsy, I twisted lots of ankles, but I've never thankfully really broken a bone. Definitely just my earlobes. It took me forever to convince my dad that it was okay, and I'm pretty sure I had to wait until my 13th birthday, and I felt like such a loser because he made me wait so long, but it was like the proudest moment of my life. I want to say it was probably Mexico, and it was not really even for that long, just like a few minutes and then back across. And the same with Canada. I've been to Canada for just like a couple of minutes and then back across. And so I need to expand my foreign country visitations. I'm pretty sure this was 101 Dalmatians. I could be wrong on this. I can't remember if it was 101 Dalmatians or Lady and the Tramp. One of those two. Both of them kind of terrified me, and as much as I loved like 101 Dalmatians, I even loved Cruella de Vil and the puppies and all of it. I'm pretty sure I probably cried through the whole thing. It may have been Snow White though, I can't remember, but definitely a Disney film, and as much as they scared me, I loved them all so much. As I mentioned before, I was homeschooled, so detention didn't really exist in my world, but probably a lot of crying and weeping and gnashing of teeth happened. I don't know. It was an experience, but yeah, I've never had detention. Well, other than my little sister, who lived with me for quite a few years in our childhood, I think my first roommate was my college roommate, and I had a lot of college roommates that we all lived together. There were like 6 or 7 of us, but I think the first one that I met like officially on move-in day was my friend Jennifer. We're still friends today, and I love her. She's great. This is a really hard, like, ooh, let's get deep with it sort of question. I think I would just really like to see, you know, just your friends and your family and people that you love do well in life. I think we all kind of want that for our friends and family, but just to see them doing well, living a healthy life, living, you know, living their dream, I think is really important. So yeah, that's probably the one wish. If I had one wish, I feel like Miss America. Oh gosh, there are a million things I would learn in a heartbeat. I actually wish that I had not gone to college for what I went to college for, because it's completely useless in my world right now. However, I would love to know more about technology, just like video software and camera setup, and I'm really bad at like all sorts of the things that I do on a daily basis. So I'm so glad that you've stuck around with me while I work out what in the heck is going on as far as like technology goes. Fortunately, I have a brilliant husband who kind of helps me if I'm like, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, can you help? But yeah, definitely something in the more technology field. I also am in love with all things like marketing, social media. I really wish there had been a program like that when I was in college. I'd also really like to learn a funny foreign language so that Brent and I can have funny conversations without people knowing what it is, like some obscure language. I think that would be hilarious. Definitely piano. I think I took that before I took voice lessons, but I loved my piano teacher. Her name was Glowanda Walker. I'm pretty sure I had a teacher before that, but I was too little to remember her. But the first teacher for piano that I remember, her name was Glowanda Walker. She was my best friend when I was a tiny little girl. It was her mom. She was amazing. She had the coolest voice. She was in a band with my dad, and I thought they were awesome. And yeah, she was my first piano teacher, and I was such a nerd. I practiced for hours and hours and hours a day, and to this day, I basically have forgotten how to play, which is really, really sad and makes my heart hurt. I'm sure that I ran across a bunch of different people there in the beginning of, you know, maybe 2007-ish. I think 2006, 2007, when I first realized that there was like a beauty community. So I distinctly remember Sam from Pixie Woo doing a Helena Bonham Carter look, and it was like from Fight Club, and it's the Marla Singer look, is that her name? Anyway, that like sealed the deal in my mind as far as like what I wanted to kind of focus my attention on. It was the most gorgeous, like distressed looking makeup, so simple but so complex, and it totally turned my like world on its head when it comes to all things makeup, and just the power that it has to transform someone. And I loved that. Of course, there was, you know, Candy Johnson in the beginning, and all of those girls, love them still to this day. And so yeah, I think that's probably where it all kind of, the idea for everything started. I loved them so much. So that is all of the questions. I hope that you liked this video. It was super fun to do, kind of fun to reminisce on the good old times. There's not a lot of firsts that happen in my life anymore, but I challenge you to always find something that you can do for the first time. It stretches you creatively, it stretches you as a person, and I think it's just healthy to always keep doing fresh and new exciting things. So I'm going to tag a few people down below, but give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. You can also subscribe if you haven't already. Click that little button. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those great places. I am there, and I am How to Be Fancy everywhere. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.